You're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Visit us online at www.xzoneradio.com.
The X Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Our toll-free number is 1-877-528-8255. That is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My email address, xzone@talkstarradio.com. On MSN Messenger, talkstarradio@hotmail.com, and our websites, www.xzoneradio.com and xzonetv.com. My guest this hour is Patrick Cooke, and Patrick and I are going to do another edition of the Cooke Report. Hey, Pat, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing fine, Rob. How are you this evening?
I'm just doing pretty darn good, I should say. The weather was beautiful today. I took a nice hour-and-a-half walk this afternoon, myself and our two pups, and you know what? I feel great tonight.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, the walking really helps.
It sure
gets our age. There's no question about it. But you're pretty lucky. They are recording the lowest record temperature in International Falls. And that's pretty close to you. I'm surprised you have such good weather up there.
Well, we've got good weather. In fact, it was so cool yesterday, Patrick, we turned the furnace on.
Wow. Well, you see, I'm down here in sunny California.
Oh, rub it in.
And we are having probably the coldest spring I've ever seen, and here we are about ready for the summer solstice. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here dressed up in warmies. I'm finding that rather strange. I think global warming is becoming too much of a reality for us.
And yet there are still those who say global warming is just a hoax.
Right. Well, you ask the people in England right now where the temperatures are up to 105 degrees, and they're talking about setting up wine vineyards and sunflower orchards over there, which is completely off base. So you just never can tell.
Well, aren't we getting the weather that they would regularly be getting as far as temperatures are concerned?
Say again?
Aren't we experiencing the temperatures that are indicative of the summertime temperatures in the United Kingdom?
No, they're actually a lot warmer. Well, they're getting our summertime temperatures over there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I meant to say. That we're getting their temperatures and they're getting ours.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's definitely becoming a real serious problem.
Pat, are you still monitoring UFO activity closely at...
Yes, quite a bit. There's been an increase, nothing of any great significance like O'Hare or the Phoenix Lights or anything like that. I interviewed Stanton Friedman just recently, and he agrees that UFO activity is up, but it's hard to say exactly what's causing that.
Where are the sightings coming from now?
Well, they actually come from all over the world. Here in the United States, we don't get near as much coverage of the UFO events as you do in the rest of the world. As a matter of fact, France has just announced that it is going to openly admit from a government standpoint that we are not alone on this planet. So that should be interesting. Viva la UFO revolution. That seems to be where they're headed.
You and I have to head off to a commercial, my friend. Patrick Cooke is our special guest, and Patrick and I will return on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live and around the world on the Talk Star Radio Network from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. 1-877-528-8255 is toll-free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Email xzone@talkstarradio.com. MSN Messenger talkstarradio@hotmail.com. Or our websites, xzoneradio.com, xzonetv.com. Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. Patrick Cooke is our special guest, www.BibleUFO.com. Patrick, I understand that there's a connection between the Kennedy assassination and UFOs.
Oh, my. I've heard all kinds of things on the Kennedy assassination. Apparently, there was a conversation on the day that he was assassinated between Nikita Khrushchev and John Kennedy on the importance of sharing information concerning UFOs. And so apparently somebody's advanced the idea that because of that, it has some kind of connection to the assassination. I don't think that's quite what went on. But, you know, it's absolutely amazing the number of conspiracy theories that are first attached to the Kennedy assassination and secondly attached to UFOs. It's amazing in the conversations that I've had and the shows that I've done and things like that. But,
what do you think is going to happen when France comes out and says we're not alone? How is this going to look in the eyes of the other countries who have been suppressing this information?
Well, there haven't been a whole lot of countries that have been suppressing it. Uruguay just came out. Brazil has come out. I mean, I should put together a list of the number of countries that have actually come out and said that they agree that there is something going on in our skies that's above and beyond anything that we can explain. What do I think is going to happen? Well, it's really hard to say. It's an absolutely fascinating concept that if such a thing were to happen, it would literally turn the world upside down. The Brookings Institute put out a report in 1960 that stated that people, it's the panic button. Basically, church attendance would either go up or way down. Scientists would be made, would be lowered in their status. The businesses would be looking around to see if they could contact these guys for logos on the side of the ship. Who knows? It would be a fascinating thing, but certainly, if such a thing were to happen, it would be one of the most amazing events in the history of mankind.
All right, now, so France comes out and says we're not alone. Uruguay comes out and says we're not alone. Other smaller countries come out and say we're not alone. Why won't the United States of America come out and say we are not alone?
Well, it's really hard to say. I don't really understand the concept, why the United States is so, like what's amazing is a country that we would believe, in our the North American view of things, suppresses information, has probably more UFO reports per day per capita than the United States. There's also, an amazing number of UFO researchers there. So it's really hard to say. I mean, China is a hotbed of UFO activity according to the Chinese press. Of course, I don't read Chinese, and they don't often interpret it into our language, so we really don't hear that much about it. But the United States has always had the, swamp gas concept, and that it's got to be anything. But when you figure that we've got presidents, senators, astronauts, military experts, it's an amazing collection, policemen, firemen. I trust cops. I've got a son who's a cop, and if a cop tells me he saw a UFO, I have a real hard time thinking that guy's got a problem, with they're trained observers. Firemen are, controllers, pilots, things like that. People that are trained observers saying this. I've never seen one. I don't know whether you've ever seen one, but I've never seen one. So I go on the basis of what other people say they see, and there's way too many people saying that they see it, and too much of this, this has been with us. We find in the ancient writings throughout our history, either we have a millennia-long mass hysteria thing going on here, or there's something there.
Stephen Bassett and other people are working in Washington to try and get disclosure. He brings military personnel, pilots, law enforcement officers to these press conferences that he holds, trying to shake the tree. And the only thing that falls out of that tree is more skepticism. We've got John Podesta is right in there in the thick of it, and he is on the record as saying that he believes in UFOs and that he thinks it should be revealed. Mm-hmm. We almost had Bill Richardson in there, and he's a UFO witness. It's hard to say. I think, though, that when you consider the condition, unemployment is now almost 10% here in the United States. I think the president has a lot more things on his mind than UFOs. But if it happens, his mindset will definitely change. If, we almost had a UFO land on the White House lawn back in 1952 in the famous Washington flap that lasted for almost 2 weeks back there. And the government came out and stated that the only statement that the government made about it is that they do not believe it's a threat to national security. So it's really hard to say why the United States. I think, we've got an incredible corporate control here, and this is not something the corporations want you watching these sitcoms at night and things like that. They don't want you outside looking at the sky. So they want to keep control of you. And I think that has a lot to do with it. But don't you think that the corporate entities would love to take hold of this? You said earlier, jokingly, that they'd want to put their logos on the side of these UFOs. Like the TV shows used to be swamped with UFO shows. I remember, sightings used to be on right after or before the X-Files.
Right.
Unsolved mysteries and. The list goes on and on and on. So it's not as if we're not ready for whatever is out there.
Well, the government seems to think we're not ready for it. Look at UFO Hunters. That's an incredibly popular show. And so popular that they duplicated. There's 2 cable networks handling the UFO Hunters program. Mm-hmm. And there is a general interest worldwide in paranormal phenomenon in general. There's a study now that's going to do research at universities and major hospitals concerning near-death experiences.
Yes, I'm aware of that one, yeah.
Say again?
I'm well aware of that one. Dr. Janet Amatuzio is one of the board members who is going to be on that, doing that study, as well as Dr. Jeffrey Long from the IANDS.
Right. Have you interviewed anybody on near-death experiences recently?
Oh, many times.
Very
times,
good.
Yeah.
Well, what's your feeling about that, Rob? That's interesting.
Well, Not having had one myself, the only thing I can do is go on what other people have said. Now, my mother had a near-death experience when she had open-heart surgery.
Wow.
So if you can't believe your mom, who can you believe? I believe that something did happen to her and touched her in a very spiritual way.
Well, there's no question about it. My best friend died about a year ago, and this guy, he didn't even have a Bible in his house. He'd never been to church. He was a red diaper baby, raised in San Francisco, never had any religious experience. He knew my work, the Bible UFO Connection, and he knows that I'm a theologian, but we never really discussed it, and he died in my arms in the hospital. Flatlined and fell right into my arms when he flatlined. He was trying to get out of bed, and he was up on his feet, and he fell, and I grabbed him, and they told me he flatlined, and they could not revive him for about 4 minutes. And then I saw him about 2 days after that, and it was religious. He said he saw Jesus when he collapsed. He knew what happened. He was well aware of what happened, and he could remember that there were people around him and things like that. And they said definitely his heart had stopped, and therefore probably all brain activity would have stopped because of the lack of the flow of blood. So, and that was from a man who definitely did not believe in a God or anything to that effect, but he believed that he saw something after he flatlined. So that's interesting that you and I both have close personal people. It's, and of course it relates somewhat to out-of-body experiences, which is the most common of all paranormal experiences in the human in human history. Everybody seems to have had an out-of-body experience. I was talking to somebody just the other day that was talking to me about that. So, is this something that is that's part of the spiritual nature of humanity? People like to fly around when they sleep. People like to seem to fly around when they die. And of course, the important thing about this study concerning near-death experiences is that it wasn't just something that some philanthropist decided he'd put some money into. These are the people who are in the operating rooms, the doctors, the clinicians, the anesthesiologists, people like that see these things happen, watch a person die in front of them, and 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, while they're sitting in the morgue or something like that, they come right back to life, brain dead, heart has stopped. Basically, as we know that most people seem to, when they lose oxygen for a long period of time, it does extreme damage to the brain. That damage seems to be off the table at that point. These people can remember everything, including what's said in the operating room after they flatlined, can remember everything about where they went, and they're even doing things in this new study, like painting pictures on the floor of the operating rooms, because the common thing is that people say they float up and are able to look down. It's a very common thing. They're able to look down on themselves and the people in the operating room from above, and they're going to try to see if people can identify those paintings on the floor. So this is going to be fascinating to see how this works out.
Stand by, Patrick.
It's the first study of paranormal phenomenon of that type, in my recollection.
Patrick, stand by. My friend, you and I have to take our commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. Exo Nation, Patrick Cooke is our special guest. The Cooke Report, www.BibleUFO.com. If you'd like to give us a call, ask Patrick a question, 1-877-528-8255. My name's Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone, and we're coming to you live and around the world right here from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on Talkstar.
I want to know where my confidence went. One day it all disappeared. I'm lying in a hotel room miles away. Voices next door in my head.
Attention female dieters. The following is a public announcement for women age 18 and up who are interested in boosting their love lives while zapping belly fat and cellulite as part of a national weight loss survey. If you qualify to participate, you will receive a free trial of a new high-speed diet pill called Slim Seduction. Originally developed as a libido booster for women, Many Slim Seduction users have also reported startling losses of belly fat and cellulite while following a healthy lifestyle plan. And now, you can get a free trial of Slim Seduction if you qualify. Just visit slim16.com. Again, this is a public announcement for women age 18 and up who are interested in enhancing their love lives and losing belly fat and cellulite. But hurry, participation in this national weight loss survey is extremely limited and based on a first-come, first-served basis. To see if you qualify for a free trial of Slim Seduction, just visit slim16.com. Remember slim16.com. That's slim, then the number 16.com.
Douglas James Cottrell, who has been called Canada's Edgar Casey, has just made available his latest CD, Douglas Cottrell 2012 Earth Changes, the first CD in the 2012 Prophecy series. This session features information gathered from the Akashic Records in a deep trance meditation session by Douglas James Cottrell in March of 2009. In this session, Douglas explains changes that have taken place in the Earth's core, changes to the Earth's poles, and the real reason why the polar caps are melting. Douglas also elaborates on increased volcanic and earthquake activity between now and 2012, including what, where, and when. To order your copy of Douglas Cottrell 2012 Earth Changes, visit his website at douglasjamescottrell.com or call toll-free 877-COTTREL.
You're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. Visit us online at www.xzoneradio.com.
Hi, this is Eric Rawls of Cosmoverse.com, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Hi, this is Blade Runner, and you are listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, I'm Laura Sabrin of Feast to Fields Organic Vineyards in Jordan, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Hi, my name is Lady Ashley, the White Witch of Niagara-on-the-Lake, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal talk radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. Patrick Cooke is our special guest, www.bibleufo.com. And Patrick, before we get back to the human phenomenon, I understand that our friend Patrick, our friend Prophet Yahweh, has a bit of problems with his websites.
Oh yeah, this has been going on for weeks. We monitor him to see what he's up to, and unless I use another search engine beyond Google, I get a report that this site may harm your computer. Of course, I believe that site may harm your brain, too, but it's interesting. He's just been completely out of sight, which is a good thing. I'm very glad to see that.
Well, last night we had Pastor Harry on the show, and good old Harry, for the first time, is asking for somebody to give him money to buy a church so he can perform the miracles that other churches can't anymore.
Oh, wow. Well, you give me some money, and I'll try my best to perform miracles.
So needless to say, after last night's show, Pastor Harry went on to the X-Zone Order of Woo-Woos.
Well, that happens. You see, that's the one thing that's important. Sharing information is one thing, but trying to get people to pay you to share that information is another thing altogether. Yeah. And I think we have to be very careful when we find somebody, especially the people that deal with God. You know, if God needs money, we need another God.
You know, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
But have you noticed the number of people who are coming out of the woodwork now that are just turning into charlatans?
Well, that's been going on for as long. I've been studying the UFO field for going on 5 decades now. The paranormal field, all kinds of things like that. But we have them. You know, we've got Miss Cleo. We've got all kinds of people that come up and claim they're channeling beings from other planets, beings from other worlds, beings from past history. We've got people that claim to have special powers. But unfortunately, P.T. Barnum was right. There's a sucker born every minute, and I guarantee you that you're never going to be without people that will believe just about anything. As the stranger it is, it seems, the more they will accept it.
We were talking about strange phenomenon before, and human phenomena.
Right. Well, it's an amazing, you know, we talked about the out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences. That's one aspect of it. We've got people, there are genuine people who seem to have clairvoyance, or what we call extrasensory perception. You know, a lot of people will tell you that they, when something happens to a loved one, they seem to get telepathic messages about that kind of thing. Of course, I'm very Irish. My parents were both Irish nationals. I'm a first-generation Irishman, and we have the crying of the banshee, which I experienced as a child, that kind of thing.
Really? Where were you living when you experienced the crying of the banshee?
I didn't experience it. I personally did not experience it. It is generally, I was born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. Of all places, I was raised in a Gaelic-speaking community. In the deep, you know, where the West begins, basically. And I was all the firemen in Fort Worth, Texas were Irishmen. And so we were all crowded into one community there, and it was a regular occurrence where the women, this was one big tribe that had come over from Ireland back in the 1880s, built the railroads, and ended up in Fort Worth, Texas, starting a fire department of all things. And it's the women of the tribe that basically get that experience. And I know many cases when I was younger, and I've heard about a number of them, where they will hear what's called the crying of a banshee. I've never heard it. I've heard that it's like a screaming, and they seem to know who it is that's going to die before they die. That's a fascinating thing. And we have my brother and I were somewhat telepathic. I would start a sentence and he would finish it. Wow. He would know what I was thinking when I had never even mentioned it. So that's another thing. We have the Buddhist who seems to be somewhat proficient at levitation. There are 17 of the saints in the Catholic Church were proficient at levitation. As a matter of fact, the movie, The Flying Nun with Sally Fields, was basically St. Teresa. That series was made about St. Teresa of Avila, who was so powerful at levitating that whenever she was in a council or she was with people, she would start rising off her chair if she got excited. They tied her to her chair, and she and the chair both would rise up off the floor. So they ended up tying her to the chair and nailing the chair to the floor. So, and that's a matter of record within the Catholic Church.
Patrick, how come we don't see these people levitating? You know, for example, why don't they get on the news and say, all right, look what I can do? I'm sure people would love to see that in reality.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't doubt that people have these powers. They're too often reported. It's such but I don't know. I really can't say. It is very. You know, I'm not talking about, you know, every third or fourth person. is able to levitate. So that's a very rare thing, but we do have a number of people. You take psychokinesis, or what is often referred to as telekinesis, the ability to move things with the mind.
Mm-hmm.
There was Uri Geller, who made quite a bit of money off of that. I don't know exactly, I withhold my judgment about how powerful he was and whether his things were genuine. But glossalia is a common thing. We see that in hypnosis where people age regress. Glossalia is the ability to speak in a language that nobody, that the person who speaks the language had no exposure to. That happens often in age regressive hypnosis. There are a number of other things like dowsing is a common thing. When I was a kid,
mm-hmm.
that's how they found water.
That's right.
There was a dowser, and I remember sitting on the front porch of a friend's farm, and him pointing at a car going down the street. He says, "Oh, there's such and such." He says, "I heard that John's well went dry. He's going to go out there and find another well." And sure enough, the guy found a well and they drilled another hole, and bingo, they found water. So that, whether that's a physical or a spiritual thing, I don't know. It's commonly known as water witching. You have psychometry, the ability of people. Now, this is somewhat questionable. The ability to view objects and to handle objects, to actually touch something and tell you where it came from, who handled it, what significance it has, and things like that. You've got human calculators. Of course, we remember that from the movie Rain Man.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Which is a common thing. Photographic memory, supermemory, synesthesia is the ability, in other words, Monday is red. Tuesday tastes like pineapple. Things like that. People that actually experience when they see things, they can smell them, they hear things, and they can feel them. They smell things, and they can visualize. They visualize colors or things to that effect. Remote viewing is a big thing.
Big thing, very big. And, of course, the United States Army and the the NSA say they do not use remote viewing, and yet we've spoken to people who are still employed by those agencies who are remote viewers.
Right. Well, we don't know how effective it is because those are always very, high security things.
Mm-hmm.
But it extends to the point, let me just read a list of this. Auras, automatic writing, clairaudience, and challenging. There are people who are magnetic. There are people who are electric. There are people who glow. There are people who spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, I'm sure you've done shows on spontaneous combustion. Figure that one out for me.
I wish I could. Imagine going out on a date, and poof, there goes your date.
Yeah, and what's amazing, in some of these cases, the clothing that the people are wearing do not ignite. The furniture that they're sitting on do not ignite. Things like that.
And they're charred beyond recognition.
Oh yeah, and there's no question about it that this does happen. I've seen police reports, actual documentation that they wonder what is going on, and they have no idea what's happening. And there are a number. We could go on and on and on about that. There are a number of things that people experience, and not only do we see that in our modern world, we've seen it throughout history, and there's also records of people who did that. Take a look at Jesus Christ. Take a look at Buddha. Take a look at Krishna. All these guys had special powers. Horus, the son of the sun god Ra in Egypt, was known to perform miracles. So things like that. It's absolutely amazing. The human, what I often wonder about is this. Einstein had his brain autopsied, and they figured out that he'd only used about 7% of his brain. Now, there's some controversy about whether that's true or not, but what is in the rest of that brain? What can that brain do? Do we have all these five? If one person can do it, why can't everybody do it? Are these inherent powers that basically, like the brain is a huge computer, and all you have to do is hit the right switch or take the right chemical?
Or know how to turn it on.
Yeah. That's I deal with the destiny of mankind, and all the ancient writings seem to talk about humans as much higher beings. Not that every one of them says the same thing, that we will reach a higher spiritual state with higher abilities and things to that effect, and that's what we need to do. And what's amazing about it is that what they all say is it's not that you need to try to do these things, that you need to not try. Yeah, you just need to relax. And what if, this incredibly fast-paced world we live in, you don't see this very often. You see it from time to time, and you see these things from time to time. But what if it's this fast-paced world that we live in that has depressed those, all the chemicals that we get in through the atmosphere, through the food that we eat?
Or is it because we've become very lazy?
That's a good possibility. There's no question about it.
You drive through the teller at the bank. You drive through the restaurant, the takeout at the restaurant or the coffee shop. You drive through now funeral homes.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have to get out of your car at all. You just sit on your duff and away you go.
Yeah, they put the body out so you can see it, and you just drive by and throw flowers, literally throw flowers out of your car. That's really sick. But the human mind starts at birth, starts developing at birth, and children are human sponges, and they have found some amazing things about children. One of the biggest ironies is that children have a tendency to be violent in their adolescent years, but they are empathetic when they are born. Put 5 babies in a room and pinch one and make it cry and see if the other 4 don't start crying right with it. That's empathy. Most children aren't scared. When a child starts whimpering, or if a child is sick, you can see, I'm a father, I've seen it happen. You take a look, and all the rest of the kids are paying attention to him. They go around and they try to comfort the child. And they also, this baby babble is a fascinating thing. It seems that children may have a universal language. There's an interesting study out about that. And so what we do is we dumb them down, and there's studies coming out about violence in video games and things like that. We are taking perhaps the most incredible organism, at least in the solar system that we know of, and turning it into a machine that does nothing but want to be a good consumer and a good worker bee for the corporados, and we end up just we play this game all through our lives, where we try to get the most toys before we die, when we really should be paying more attention to what's going on in the human mind.
Patrick, stand by. I've got to take my final break for this hour. X-Zone Nation, Paul Davids is up next. We're going to be talking about Jesus in India, the movie. Patrick Cooke's my special guest this hour, www.BibleUFO.com, and Patrick and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live and around the world right here on Talkstar.
If you currently have a short-term fixed-rate home mortgage, you do need to listen to this. The mortgage industry is rapidly changing, and no one knows that better than your friends in the money business, Prime Pacific Capital. Every day, new guidelines are making it more and more difficult for homeowners to refinance the current mortgage. Don't get caught with the high interest rate and increased payments once that loan automatically adjusts. Interest rates are still low. Call Prime Pacific Capital today and refinance into a long-term, low-rate fixed mortgage. No matter what your credit situation or what state you live in, Prime Pacific Capital will work to secure a new loan for you. Don't count yourself out until you give us a call. A loan specialist is standing by to assist you with your free consultation. Make that call today. 1-866-464-1800. 1-866-464-1800. Call Prime Pacific Capital at 1-866-464-1800.
Are you getting tired of all the bad news? Well, then take a break from the worries of the world and play the love game. It's time to focus on what is really important in our lives, our relationships. You deserve more love, happiness, and harmony in your life. Synchro Hearts is the new hot relationship game that guarantees more love, laughter, and romance for you and your partner. It's not a sex game, it's a love game based on all the important relationship stuff like better communication, more intimacy, and lots of fun and excitement. Great intimacy is just one of the benefits of playing Synchro Hearts. Now, President Obama inspires hope, love, and peace for the world. Synchro Hearts offers more hope, love, and harmony for relationships. To order your very own edition of Synchro Hearts, visit Synchro Hearts' website now at www.syncrohearts.com. That's www.syncrohearts.com. Synchro Hearts. It's the game you love to play and play to love.
And welcome back to the X Zone. Patrick Cooke is our special guest, www.BibleUFO.com. Patrick, as always, my friend, great having you with us tonight. What else are you up to? How's it going with the different, how's the garden going, or your food project?
Oh, it's going great. We have, we've taken on ducks. We now have ducks. We had chickens. We've now got ducks. So we're going to have duck eggs. But I work for an organization called Spiral Gardens, food security project here in Berkeley, and we serve the less fortunate community with fresh fruits and vegetables. And anybody who wants to see that project can find it just by typing in Spiral Gardens into Google, and we'll come up number one. But the important thing is that we're helping other people, and that's something that everybody should do, especially with the price of food. Gas is up to $70 a barrel now. Who knows? We may see another $4 or $5 a gallon thing here in the United States.
I'm sure we will, but the question is why, and how come it goes up and down, up and down, up and down?
Because they can't. They get away with it, and we don't stop them. We should stop them. We can do it. We've, this control that corporations have over our lives and the prices that we pay has got to stop. And the only way to do that is to make our legislators put their feet to the fire, put their feet to the fire, and make them work, just like you do in Canada.
Of course, yeah. we could do that, Patrick, if their hands weren't in the pocket of the oil companies.
Exactly, that's the problem. They can get away with it because they control they have a chokehold on the fuel supply and won't allow anything alternative to come in. So hopefully people will get sick of it. I mean, I thought they learned their lesson before, but no, they haven't. And as the prices go up, the record profits of the oil companies go right up with it.
They keep on getting richer and richer and richer, and everybody at this side of the pump has to keep dishing it out.
Oh, yeah, we pay and pay and pay.
I owe, it's off to work I go. There you
go. Right.
Pat, I want to thank you very much for joining us tonight, my friend. Take care of yourself, and until the next time we speak, be safe.
It's been a pleasure being with you, as always, Rob. Good night.
Take care, friend. Bye-bye now. Patrick Cooke, www.BibleUFO.com. That's www.BibleUFO.com. When I come back from the news at the top of the hour at 6.5 minutes past, I'm going to be talking with Paul Davids. And Paul Davids is the producer, writer, director, editor, and cinematographer of Jesus in India. By the way, he was the coordinator of the original Transformers TV show for Marvel Productions in 1985, and his name appears on about 80 episodes and he also wrote many of them. So there we go. We're going to be talking to Paul Davids about Jesus in India, the movie. 1-877-528-8255, toll free throughout the U.S., Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. My name is Rob McConnell, and this is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. I'll be back on the other side of the news at 6.5 minutes past, right here on Talkstar. Don't go away.